club. What made you start a Lions Club? Now, is this the only Lions Club in Prosper?
Yes.
What made you do a Lions? Because I'll tell you that I'm a Mason. I've been in Rotary. I've been president of Leukemia Texas. What made y'all choose this service organization?
Melanie?
Well, Gary and I, actually, Charlie, who is he's president of the Colleyville Lions Club, approached our mayor. And our mayor felt like that it would be a good organization to have. And so Gary and I are the two that have kind of drummed up, or kind of got a little bit of momentum going. And we think it's going to be really great. And the big thing is because for every dollar raised, we get to decide as a membership how we want that money allocated.
Well, I think it's going to be great because, you know, as I read about it, Lions Club has really got, you know, kids will come out and they'll say they want to go to college and they'll say, I want to change the world. All kids want to change the world. But you don't change the world at the whole world. You change the world one person at a time. So if you give glasses away to one kid, maybe that kid could read, maybe he'll go to college, maybe he'll become the president, who knows what. So Lions Club does it that way. I read about the founder of Lions Club. His name is Melvin Jones. Y'all know that? Okay, so Melvin Jones was a businessman in Chicago. You know that.
I do now.
Melvin Jones was a businessman in Chicago, and he was very successful, and he had a lot of successful friends. And he said if we could harness all the energy that these successful business people have to do good things with it, it would be great. And his personal motto was, you won't get very far unless you're doing something for somebody else. And so I think that's a great thing, and I'm sure everybody in this room probably feels that way. That's why you do service organizations. So I'm thrilled to be around people like Gary McCone, or thrilled to be around people like you. We're really lucky to live in this area. I spend a little time, because I have an office in Gunner, I live in Plano, but I'm up and down the street all the time, and Kim lives up here in Prosper. And we're really lucky to live in North Texas. So I hear the bankers and I hear these different businesses. We're really lucky in this economy that we've got. I was in Spain on vacation a couple of weeks ago, and we just talked nice about you, Gary. Thanks for having me.
Not everybody did. No, that's okay.
No, everybody did.
I can take it off. Okay.
I was in Spain, and I never had been there before. I spent 2 weeks in Spain. It's really pretty.
How are
the
you?
food's great.
Good to see you.
The economy there's 25% unemployment rate. Gosh, that's terrible. You know, we're at 6%, and in North Texas, we're the best in the whole country. And in this particular area, in this North Texas, this corridor from Plano all the way up to Oklahoma, this is the greatest place we could really be living. I was so happy to get home. I'm going to ask y'all a couple questions. We'll have fun just for a second.
We didn't know there was going to be a test.
There's going to be a
There's
test.
going to be a test.
Where was Seville?
I did go to Seville.
Texas Tech has a campus.
They did? They had a fair, a big fair there.
Oh, yeah.
Have you been there? Seville was great. Okay.
No.
So what was Prosper? You can raise your hand. You're going to win a prize. What was Prosper originally named?
Rock. No.
Rock Hill?
Rock Hill?
No.
Close.
Rock Ridge?
Close.
Richland?
Richland. Who said that, Gary?
He actually said it and I repeated it, so he...
There you go. It's healthy for you. Who said they worked at the bank? Was it Prosper? What was the bank you worked at?
American Bank of Texas.
Okay, well,
But
I'm
she's
sorry,
with
but-
Prosper Bank.
So you're at Prosper State Bank. When was it founded?
1903.
All right, here we go.
I was their second depositor.
Two cities came together to form Prosper. What were the names of the cities?
Rock Hill.
Rock Hill and Richland. Future congressman, future councilman.
There you go.
Thanks, Chris. I want to introduce myself just a little bit. My name is Michael Pincus. I've been a dentist in Plano, and I have an office now in Gunner. I've been in this area for 35 years. I've been married 36 years to my wife, Jeanette. I've got 2 grown children. One works with me as a dentist, Scott, and the other one is a lawyer. She's married and lives down in Austin. And when Gary asked me, he asked me, would you speak at the Lions Club? I had no clue why you did, but I had I've always had an affinity for him because there were reasons why we talked. I talked about your kids, and Gary has like values with me. So I didn't know why you asked me or what you wanted me to talk about, but I know you've had
I don't know either, really, I just.
You just thought I could do this. I know you've had the guys from the library or maybe the city manager or something to talk about Prosper. And I didn't know exactly what I was going to talk about, but I'll tell you all this. I speak mostly to dental groups or different dentals about different things about dental practice or very few technical things. I speak to dental students, or I would speak to students, and this is where it started. My son went to dental school maybe 10 years ago when he started at dental school, and a lot of the kids in his class would come to me and ask me questions. And I never really felt like I had anything where I could stand in front of people where I could really give them an idea, but these were kids that didn't know where I'd been, and I'd already been there. So I would answer these kids' questions, and I enjoyed it. And I came back and said, you know, I need to write this down. I need to make some way that we would make it formal. So I wrote a book. And the book is called The 7 Stages of a Dental Practice Life Cycle. And I have them here. I'll give them to y'all if anybody's interested after. And I wanted to try, you could use the 7 stages of a dental practice life cycle in any business, in any life cycle event, or even the Lions Club. So maybe for a new club, this would be some way that we would figure out a way that we would make the club get better. We would just apply what we would do. Now, I talked about Melvin Jones and what Melvin Jones said, you won't get very far without helping other people. So I'm guessing that's the purpose of why we're here today, and that's a great purpose. I want to talk about a few concepts today. I want to talk about, and I'll be brief. I want to talk about the definition of success. I want to talk about how to get there, and I would use a term called working backwards. And I would talk about a way that y'all can help each other, and this would be to find motivation, and it would be to find people with alike values or aligned values. So I'm going to start with this. My definition of success, or there's many definitions of success, but the one I'm going to give y'all today for a service organization, one that I use for everything, would be, I would think I'm successful if I've had a positive effect on somebody else or a positive effect on something. I'd like when I die, it just doesn't say on my tombstone he loved his children. I'd like people to say that he did something good for the community or for some other reason other than the standard things that they would miss us. I know I'm preaching to the choir because y'all are volunteering on a Wednesday afternoon, so I know everybody probably feels this way. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to y'all a little bit about how we could maybe get there, or how I try to apply it to different things. Now, I'll tell you that I've been president of Leukemia Texas. I'm a master mason. I'm a Scottish Rite. I've been involved in different charities, and so they're going to be very similar. I don't know the difference between Lions Club and Rotary Club. They do the same darn thing, but I've been in the Rotary Club too. And so all organizations have to have a certain format, and I'm going to give you kind of a way that we would start. I'm going to use the book just as an example. There's 7 stages. There's a seed stage, a startup stage, a growth stage, an established phase, a expansion phase, then it goes into a mature phase, and then an exit phase when you're done. The seed stage is when it's just a great idea. So I guess you started with the seed.
No.
Gary.
Gary's idea was to start the Lions Club.
No,
One of y'all had a great idea. One of y'all went to the pizza place on a
What
Tuesday.
mine? No, I'm kidding.
One of y'all went to a pizza place on a Tuesday afternoon and said, I got a great idea. Let's start a Lions Club. The mayor thinks we need it. It'll be good for the community. It is good for the community. That was a great idea. Okay, so the first thing I'll tell you is in the seed stage, it could be when you're starting a business. It could be when you want to get married. It could be when you want to go on a fishing trip and make a vacation. You always start with the great idea. The great ideas are easy. The hard part is doing it. So the first thing I'll tell you that you got to do when you get a great idea is write down what your great idea is, and then write down very specific steps about how you're going to get there. Now, I don't know if y'all already passed that part because you're 2 months old, but you might not be, or you might be in it right now. But if you haven't written down where you think this club will be in 5 years, or where you even think it'll be in 1 year, in terms of fundraising, in terms of kinds of charities that you would do, in terms of how many members you think you have, y'all need to have a steering committee right off the bat. Because if you don't know where you're going to get nowhere fast. And it'll be a lot of fun, but it'll die out. I can tell it's a fun group. The next stage, and I don't know, y'all might already be in this stage, is the startup phase. That's when y'all have had the great idea, And I believe this is where you're probably at. And you said, we're going to send some letters, we'll call up people, we'll see where we're going to be, and then you'll say, all right, now we're here. We're at the church, we're having a meeting, go order the pizza. Okay, well that's a scary stage, because now what do? Well, we started asking people to come in, but this is an important part too. And so, and it can't just be about, funny dentists coming to speak. It's got to be about, what you're actually going to do. So I don't know where you're up to with that. We can talk about each stage because there's specific steps with lists and things. So when I tell you to write these things down, write everything down really good, or you won't follow it. Everybody wants to be a champion. Not everybody's willing to do what you got to do to be a champion. Everybody wants to lose weight. Nobody wants to go on a diet. So, it's really important that y'all do that. The next stage after the start would be the growth stage. Y'all are going to start growing. This room's going to get too big. You're going to have other speakers besides me. You're going to have the mayor. You're going to have the congressman. You're going to have the governor. Will start coming and speak to the Lions Club. They like to do that. And when you start growing like that, that's when it's really important to remember what your definition of success is. Your definition of success is that we want to help people. We want to have a positive effect, because if you start thinking the definition of success is, I want to be the president, or I want to be the secretary, or I want to be more involved, that's not a pure enough reason that will sustain it. It's always got to be about doing something good. If you do that, you'll have a great club. After you grow, you'll be established. This is a really dangerous stage of any business or any organization or anything. It could be a dangerous stage in a marriage, because when you get established, you get set in your routine. I write when I wrote in the book that typically people are about 40 when they get established. And you got your kids and you're going to the football game on Friday night, you got your dog and you set in a routine, and it can get really comfortable, but that's when you get complacent, and that's when bad things happen. So when you're an established club, you may have your organization set, you got your committees, you got your charities running, and then it gets boring. And that's a part that there's a lot of pitfalls in that. The next stage after that would be you would either expand or get mature. You could say, God, we're so big, we got to build our own building. We got to have it at a bigger place. And then when you get into an expansion phase, you start finding more people that want to do it, and this is when your values got to really be aligned. So I want to talk about value alignment a little bit, and I want to talk about motivation. Everybody in here is motivated for one reason or another, and I don't know what it is. Motivation would be, you find motivation in just the passion that you've got. You might have passion in making loans so businesses could get good. They may have passion in keeping the streets safe. Hopefully they do. You might have passion just in being the big dog in the whole place. I guess I don't know. You might be. 'Cause I see your signs all over town. And I don't live here. And by the way, Gary told me to tell you and to tell Kim to slow down when y'all drive.
That's true for me.
But you got to keep your, you want to be motivated. And your motivation doesn't necessarily have to be your passion. People say, like, I want to do what I love. I want to be a fishing guide. Well, that may not always be possible. You don't want to do things in your work or your life that are going to allow you to follow your passion. Because, you still have to be, you should be passionate about taking care of your family. So that may be why you have to work in the first place. So not everybody, it'd be easy for me to say, I follow my passion. I follow my passion. I started to practice up in Gunner. I've got a big practice in Plano. I do a lot of work with sleep apnea or sleep breathing disorders, and I limit my practice in many ways to that. And I get to do that, so I'm lucky. But you don't always get to do exactly what you want to do. So you got to find another reason to be motivated. And the motivation is you want to be successful, and the success is when you've affected other people in a good way. If you get after you're either expanded or growth, you go into a mature phase of your business, of your club, or your life, or whatever. If you stay in the mature phase, you won't be doing a good job. You won't be helping people positively. So I'll give you an example. If I have a mature dental practice, I don't want to spend a lot of money on new equipment. I don't want to keep up with technology. I don't want to go to continuing education. I'm already done with it. So will that be doing my patients any good? No. Being in a mature phase is terrible, and I want to be brief because it's explained more. And the last phase, when you get in the mature phase, is exit. When you exit, you should really look back at a time to say that you've done a job well done. If you keep the motivation that you want to help people, the club will be great, the Lions will be great, your life will be great. I don't know how it wouldn't be. It's harder done. It's easy for me to get up and preach. I mean, it's harder. It's easier said than done. But that would be the message that I would want you to do. Keep a pure motivation. Work backwards from that by writing things down. And I would encourage anybody here, write your own book. You'll be surprised what it'll do, because you'll read your own book to see if you live your own life. And it's harder to do than what you think. And it's been a pleasure to be here today. I hope I didn't run wrong.
No, it was
I
great.
got these here. Y'all want to go box. Thank y'all.